Before this video begins, if you're looking to get premiums totally for free, check the link in the description that will redirect you to an Amazon video I did, from which everything will be explained. Don't miss the opportunity, let's roll. Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna take a look at the Concept 1B because it's in the store right now, and as I explained to you in my previous video, this one is about to be broken in the upcoming update. Wargaming knows that, and this is why they are overpricing it so much, but at least there is one cool thing: we do have charms, which means that when you buy 30 containers, you get a Concept 1B totally guaranteed, which is nice enough to be mentioned if you ask me. But beside the price that should cost you around 120 euros, which is a lot of money because with that you can buy a lot of things, let's take a look at what this tank has in its stomach, because overall it's just a great tank. For the little context, it was the last tank that was available in the Christmas event, and for those of you that didn't have the pleasure of playing any Christmas event in World of Tanks Blitz, it's basically an overpriced tank that came out completely broken and that Wargaming will never nerf due to the fact that it was really expensive. I remember for the Concept 1B, I was among the unlucky one that had to spend a couple of bucks, like 200 or 300 bucks, in order to get the Concept 1B. But in the end, as I'm a YouTuber and also because I love the tank, I was not too disappointed. But what made me love this tank? Actually, multiple things. We can start off with the gun. The aim time, the gun dispersion, and the DPM are just perfect. Just take a look at that, 3.4 seconds, which means that you are accurate as hell. The gun dispersion 0.29, which means that you can shoot while driving without any problems. The DPM 2.8k, allowing you to face pretty much everything without having to fear anything. 8.10 seconds of reload with a great penetration values, 258 with your regular and 310 with your gold. On top of that, and maybe that this is the craziest thing about the gun, 10 degrees of gun depression. But of course, all of that comes to a downside: 380 alpha damage instead of the regular 400. But do not worry, you will get used to it, yeah, pretty soon. Second great thing, the mobility. Even if it says that you're stuck at 45 kilometers per hour, in definitive, when you're using the tank, you will go really faster. Specifically, if you use the right provisions. Personally, I use improved fuel to increase a little bit all of those statistics, specifically the engine by 10%. But you could try to get yourself something else, like why not the standard fuel, but knowing that we have the improved one, I don't see the point. So overall, the mobility of that thing is also great because not only is it fast, it also has a great traverse speed, 36 or 37 degrees with your hull if you take a closer look and if you round the numbers up. And of course, for the turret, a mighty 32 degrees per second, which means that you have a mobility, at least on the traverse speed, that is quite close to what you see on the mediums. And all of that combined, and specifically the armor profile that we're going to take a look after, is just what makes this thing shine as hell. But the thing that will make you love the Concept 1B is, of course, the fact that it doesn't have any turret cheeks. On multiple tanks, turret cheeks are a problem because when you switch to Gold Shell, it's the place you can penetrate someone if they're playing aggressively. On the Concept 1B, we got removed of that, and maybe that this is why it's called a concept, because when you use your 10 degrees of gun depression, it's just impossible to penetrate. You can't penetrate the tank, no matter what kind of tank you are playing with against that thing. The only possibility is to penetrate the upper part of the cupola, but even that is just impossible when you are using the 10 degrees of gun depression this tank has. On top of that, the armor everywhere is just crazy, which means that if you place your tank correctly, you are just a big bunker, impossible to get moved. Now, let's take a look at the tank. I want you to understand one thing. This tank is going to be buffed in the upcoming update, knowing that in the current update, it already has a great mobility, a great gun, and a great armor. To be honest, I do not know what Wargaming is thinking, but I'm down for it because I got the tank in my garage. So let's take a closer look at what we're doing right now. Our great mobility allowed us to escalate that little slope, allowed us to jump directly into the battlefield, and just take a look at how fast I go on this side. It's just incredible. Look at this. Of course, we have some downsides, for example, the Batchat, but even the Batchat can't do anything because the guy is not aiming at all like he's supposed to. He bounced one of his shell, and now he's just out here not being able to do anything. And once again, the gun is making all the difference here because we just wrecked that poor guy within the time our adrenaline was activated. And this is pretty much what awaits for you with the Concept 1B. We are already at 2k damage within the first minute of the game because we played aggressively, because we do want to play aggressively. The only problem is that most of the time when people see a Concept 1B, they are going to focus you again and again and again. And you will have to deal with this, and it can be a little bit hard sometimes. Now, going back to the playstyle, of course, I think you guessed it, impossible to penetrate in all down, so you want to show your turret only. And if you can do it by using your 10 degrees of gun depression, it's even better. But luckily for you, I'm going to be able to demonstrate how powerful that 10 degrees of gun depression are when we will fight against the Chieftain soon enough. Now for the rest, I'm trying to tell my tanks, or my allies I should say, to push a little bit. Not necessarily because I want them to die or anything like that, but because I know that the Chieftain and the 100 are focused on me, which means that it gives the freeway to the Type 58. But at the same time, the Type 58 is just a tier 9 against 2 tier 10s, it's a little bit too much, but do not worry, we're doing the job. Just take a look at the Chieftain, for example. As we have a tank that is really small in terms of size, it allows us to get some shots on the Chieftain from the hill without the Chieftain being able to fight back. And this is the kind of thing I love about the concept. And on top of that, the Chieftain is not even trying to shoot with gold shell because he knows he can't penetrate. So in definitive, the good and overall question is, will this tank be nerfed or is this tank broken? In my opinion, the Concept 1B when used correctly is broken, but you're going to tell me that it's the case with every single tank. But an E100, for example, is never broken because anytime you have the possibility of penetrating it with gold shell. It is not the case of the Concept 1B. If people can't see the cupola in all down, you are literally an armored bunker and nobody can do anything against you. And it shows. I mean, here we were the true motivator of our team. We rushed through, killed their eyes by snapping a shot on the Batchat. After we took them from behind, which made them be a little bit shy in terms of pushing. And in definitive, it got us the victory with 5k damage. And on top of that, this tank is a premium, or a collectible with a premium status, which means that with this tank you are going to do a lot of credits. Just take a look at that, for example, first class and 130,000 credits. It's just insane. You can play that tank again and again and again without necessarily being bored about it, because it's always fun to get something like that, because it's a nice breath or air, or I don't know if it's the right expression in English. I know it's one in French, but not necessarily in English. But what I want to tell you is that it feels good. It feels good to get something that is not close to an IS-7 or any Russian stupid tank that we have that are all copy-paste of each other. Here we have something that truly has something original to propose, and it's nice to be able to play with it. But of course, it comes to a crazy price, 120 euros. But the tank has its downsides, which I'm about to demonstrate right now. Because the main problem of the Concept 1B, maybe I'm gonna try to advance a little bit, because at first I liked a little bit, I don't know why. But basically, when you do not have the possibility of playing in all down, you will struggle a little bit, because the only thing that you fear is people pushing when you're alone. And yes, I know it's something that a lot of tanks are scared about, but specifically with the Concept 1B, because as soon as the enemies are not showing are pushing you, it's over. It's over. And we're going to try to demonstrate that in this game. As you can see, I'm trying to focus as much as possible on the Concept 1B in front of me because I know that this tank is quite deadly. But at the same time, I do not want to risk it all, etc. But yeah, we have a crazy gun depression. Just take a look at that. We're snapshotting and it's working effectively. But at the same time, the Concept and the K91 are going to push us. And here you are in the real struggle. So what I'm doing right now is using my mobility to be able to escape. I saw that my teammates were with me, but even by doing so, the Concept 1B in front of me really wanted to get shots on me and me only. But it's not a problem. Both of them are gonna die pretty soon because my teammates are here for me, which allows me after to push through. And here you're gonna see the main problem with this tank, specifically with the grill. It's one of the few tanks that is accurate enough to get you straight when you're not using your 10 degrees of gun depression. Because when you're not using your 10 degrees of gun depression, they can penetrate you in your cupola. But it's quite rare, and on top of that, the legendary attachment on the tank allows you to protect, kind of, because you don't see clearly where the cupola is. And it's gonna save you against a lot of opponents. It's either the enemies already know about this weak spot and they will try it even if you have the little feathers around, or they will not know about it and they will just cry when they see that they can't penetrate you in all that. And in definitive, all of those aspects are making this tank truly worth it, and specifically in the 9.1 update, as I already mentioned. So yeah, if you have the money, which is a real and huge price, I totally understand that, guys. But if you're lucky enough to get it within 2 crates, or if you have enough money to get yourself 30 charms to get it guaranteed, maybe that you want to try it out, because of course you are not going to be disappointed about the abilities of that thing, because that thing is here to rule, and to rule for a very long time. So hopefully it enlightened your mind, or at least it showed you what you needed to see about the Concept 1B. Hopefully I'm going to see you again on that channel, and waiting for that, I encourage you to check the Amazon video, because of course on this one you will have the possibility of winning a Concept 1B. Not saying anything else. See ya.